Hey there, guys. This lovely day. It's raining out today, obviously. We are on Monday. And I believe we've gone through an entire week of what we've had to deal with as far as all this goes with the corona and everything else. And please, just a couple thoughts on that. I've received an interesting text from a good friend of mine who's involved with the medical field. And he gave me a list of reasons why this thing can be so nasty. And again, some people will not face any dire circumstances. Some people will get the sniffles and be on their way. But this particular strain, this particular thing that we're dealing with out there, which is an enemy, by the way, I mean, it is attacking. It will morph into other things. And so that's, I think our medical professionals and everyone else are trying to tamp that down. Let me say this to you also. Hey, make sure that you remember these medical people and what they're doing. I mean, they are literally, many of them, putting their lives on the line. I don't want to be over dramatic, but many of them are. There have been medical people who have died as a result of the coronavirus. So please make sure you're praying for them. I'm told that every night at 8 o'clock we're supposed to go to our doors and go to our windows and applaud them. I don't know what that does necessarily, but it certainly keeps them in mind in our minds. So please make sure. Hey, and when all this is over, and it's going to be over, I mean, this is going to end. And when it does, you need to make sure you say thank you to medical people. I know, like with us, for a long time after 911, police officers and fire department personnel and people like that, we made sure that we were thanking them and remembering what they did for us. So I want to make sure that you're reminded of that. And in our church, when we do our Red, White, and Blue Day, we're going to make sure that our hospital workers are remembered also for standing up so courageously. I mean, they're doing some amazing work, and we need to pray. Hey, and the way we can help is by observing what we should be observing. Don't try to be a Lone Ranger. Don't try to be a person who thinks, well, I'm just going to show the rest of the world how great my faith is. No. This is the time that we are united. This is the time that we do this together. This is what we should be doing. This is not the time to think, again, that you're going... It kind of reminds me a little bit, some of these people that are doing things like this sort of remind me sometimes like of that mentality of handling snakes. Like, I'm just going to show you what kind of faith I have, until you see one of them dragged out because a rattlesnake got them. I'm just teasing you, of course. So keep those things in mind. We're here once again, as you see behind me, right up here, real time, and I enjoy this time with you each day. Helps me stay connected. I hope it helps whoever's watching this stay connected, and I hope that it speaks to your heart. We're going to move through this. Are things going to get worse? They could, but eventually, they're going to start getting better. And continue praying. We had a great prayer night last night. We will do that every so often, and we had quite a few of you tune into that. And also, we plan on Wednesday night continuing in the study on Esther. That will happen 6:30, and we will be here to stream the chapter out that we'll be in. And so I ask that you tune in, that you come back, that you listen, and hope you connect with other people too. So without any further delay, today I want to talk to you a little bit out of Psalms chapter 25. And Psalms chapter 25, of course, we have David. And David is in an interesting position in Psalms 25. And I want to talk to you and I want to read a little bit about this to you, what's going on here. First of all, David is proclaiming something very interesting in Psalms 25. Oh Lord, I give my life to you. I trust in you, my God. Now, that sounds good, right? I mean, that's what we all want to say. Oh Lord, I give my life to you and I trust in you. And so David is so committed right now, and he is so committed that he's saying, Lord, I trust in you. Now listen, the word trust in the Bible is an interesting word. This is what it literally means in the Bible. It's a bold, confident, sure, you're secure in it, and you take actions based on that security. Now, what do you think I mean by that? Well, this is what I mean. Like, let's say you are an adult out there watching this right now, and you have a child, and they are at that age, 16 going into 17 kind of a thing, and they are working their way through getting a license, right? Now, when I was a youth pastor, I used to get parents that would ask me to take their kids and teach them to drive, not because I was such a great driver, but just because I wasn't their parent. because many times as a parent, it's a very, very frightening thing to watch your child driving and to teach your child how to drive. So the idea of trust means, you don't get that license, or you shouldn't just get a license because now you're of age to get it. I think there has to be, hey, can you drive? Do you have the mentality to drive? Are you capable of driving? And so forth. Are you responsible, right? That goes into the idea of what we're talking about when it comes to trust. You see, just because your child turns 17 shouldn't necessarily mean, oh yeah, absolutely, you're 17, you can drive. There has to be some responsibility. There has to be some building up consistency in the life that now you can trust them. I trust you. You should be able to get your license and you should drive. I think that's a good thing. Technically, when we get a license, it means the state trusts us to drive. Not on the sidewalks, which some people tend to do. But anyway, so now you understand. So when David says, I trust you, Lord, he's saying, I can put my security in you. Why? Because of the things that I know that you are able to do. And trust is a little different from faith. Faith is a gift that's given to us by God. It tells us that in Ephesians chapter 2, 8 and 9. But trusting is what we do because of the faith that has been given to us. Because I put my faith, which God has given me as a gift, I now can trust who you are, God. And that's exactly what David is saying. I trust in you. I put my faith in you, God. Remember, it's the same David that would say to us in a couple chapters earlier, Psalms 23, and he would say to us, the Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. Because of that, because you lead me and guide me, I put my trust in you. I follow you wherever you are going to lead me. So same David is saying that. Well, David continues and he says, I want you to show me the right path, O Lord. Point out the road for me to follow. Lead me by your truth and teach me, for you are the God who saves me. All day long, I put my, now he goes to another word. He says, my hope in you. So we've established that David trusts the Lord. And now that he trusts him, he's following him along. And because he's following him along now he has great hope. Isn't it interesting? When you trust the Lord, and you say you truly trust the Lord, you can now place your hope in him. Why? Because he proves himself over and over and over. He provides, he takes care of, he's consistent, he's not an absentee dad or anything like that. David puts his trust, and as a result of his trust, he now has hope. Now this is interesting. Let's spend just one moment on the word hope. We've got trust, now we have hope. What does that mean, Gary? Well, the word hope in our word today often will point, believe it or not, to doubt. When someone says, I hope it's raining today, boy, I hope this rain stops, what are they saying? They're not necessarily talking in a positive, they're almost talking in a negative. And the response usually goes like this. So Alyssa's helping me film. Alyssa comes in and says, boy, I hope this rain stops soon. And I say, I sure hope so. Well, what am I talking? I'm talking more of a negative than I am a positive. You see, in our vernacular, we've taken the word hope to mean, I don't know if it's really going to happen. I kind of just hope it does. Like it's like going to take magic fairy dust to make it happen. Like everything's got to move and be rearranged for it to happen. You see, the word hope in the Bible has nothing to do with doubt. The word hope in the Bible is nothing to do with the negative. It has everything to do with the positive. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is this. We don't say, I hope in the Lord, saying, boy, I hope the Lord shows up. Boy, I hope the Lord returns. My hope is in the fact that I know the Lord is going to return. See, when David talks about putting his hope in the Lord, he's not saying, I hope all this is real. You know, when I die, I hope I'm standing in heaven one day. No. We have an assuredness. In fact, our message on Sunday out of 1 John was knowing that what we believe is truth. Well, the same thing's true of what David's saying. I know that this is true. I know I can put my hope. I trust you, Lord, and my hope is in you. Because I trust you, I can put hope in you. Guys, you know, there's a lot of negative today. There's a lot of stuff going on today that would lead you to think negatively. But the reality of it is, you're not just hoping in the sense that maybe this is going to happen. You're hoping knowing that it's going to happen. Do you understand the difference? The human intellect says, I just hope it can happen. The biblical mind says, I know this is going to happen, so my hope is in the fact that I know what the Lord is going to do. So anyway, as we put these together, see the word hope in the Bible, the word faith, the word trust, all those have nothing to do with doubting. They have everything to do with building blocks of our faith, is exactly what it is. Well, David continues. He praises God some more. The Lord is good and does what is right. Psalms 25 again. Verse 9, he shows the proper path to those who go astray. He leads the humble in doing right, teaching them his way. Isn't that great? I think it's wonderful. The Lord is good and does what is right. Again, this is the same David that was saying, I follow you, Lord. Even through the valley of the shadow of death, I will follow you. My point here that I'm trying to get at with you is this. Hey, guys, listen. You have a great hope. You have a great trust. You need to rest in that. But then, down just a little further in this particular Psalms, I want to point something out to you. And that's this. David takes a turn, which I've seen many people do. And in the crisis that we're in today, I see it also. And that's this. Look what David says in verse 16 of 25. Turn to me and have mercy, for I am alone and I'm in deep distress. Guys, listen. David has just gone from building this wonderful, wonderful fortress, looking at God and saying, God, you're my defender, you're my hope, you're my trust. I place everything in you. And then he turns around and he says, but I'm alone and I'm in deep distress. They're mutually exclusive thoughts. Guys, this is mutually exclusive thoughts. Look, lest you think that I'm trying to grab something out of the air here. Listen, there are a lot of people who went through emotional loneliness those times in the Bible. Jeremiah was another guy. Jeremiah was another guy. We'll get to that in a moment. I want to talk about Jeremiah with you in a moment. The reality is this, guys. You can be riding high, things are going good, you feel strong. The next thing you know, you're down. There are many people whose connection was through the church. You would come to whatever ministry you were coming to, you were involved, you would see people every Sunday. We have a fairly large, vibrant church, and so it was easy to make those kinds of connections. But now, you're feeling isolated and you're feeling lonely. Listen, David was removing his eyes from God at this point. David got focused on the circumstances around him, and because he got focused on the circumstances around him, he allowed himself to slip. And that was the result. I'm alone. I'm in deep distress. My problems go from bad to worse, he would say. My problems go from bad to worse. Oh, save me from them all. I feel my pain and see my trouble. Forgive all my sins. See how my enemies I have, and how viciously they hate me. Protect me. Rescue my life from them. Do not let me be disgraced, for in you I take refuge. May integrity and honesty protect me, for I put my hope in you, O God. Ransom Israel from all of its troubles. Now listen, David is slipping and slipping and slipping. He's in a bad circumstance. There's no doubt about it. But many of you are in a bad circumstance, and I want to remind you of something, and that is to put your trust in the Lord. Now, I know this is probably going to roll into a part two. I'm not going to make you sit and watch this thing forever and ever and ever. So at this point, I think we're going to, let me just take a little break. You're going to stay right there, and let's just take a little break. And I'm going to count off 3, 2, 1. That would give Alyssa, my A1 professional editor of these things, the opportunity to be able to cut this in half. And then we'll just pick up in part 2. And we'll probably be showing this tomorrow, I'm thinking. So 3, 2, 1.